Welcome to PlayPianoToday.com. This is part 1 of 2 of a quick overview of the piano lesson titled How to Match Chords Up with Any Melody, Chapter 3. In previous chapters, we've been studying simple versions of the tune Amazing Grace. In Chapter 3, we're forging ahead, and we're going to start adding advanced techniques. Specifically, in this chapter, we're going to study something that's so powerful. The name is the secondary dominant. You've got to get your hands on this technique. Before we dig in, though, here's a sample of the finished tune with lots of those advanced techniques thrown in. Now in this chapter, Chapter 3, we're going to start by specifically zeroing in on the secondary dominant. Now if you don't learn anything else musically this year, make sure you get this concept nailed down. The secondary dominants are our musical heavy hitters. They're able to interject musical enthusiasm between chords. No kidding. Once you start throwing down a few secondary dominants, you'll see other musicians crane their necks over and they'll say, "What are you doing over there?" And you'll just smile and laugh and throw a couple more down. So it's ridiculous fun, but hey, that's the point. Now, if you haven't yet got your chord charts printed out for this lesson, you will be completely and totally lost. I've got them all put together as a PDF. You can print them out. Go to playpianotoday.com/MCM, like match chords melodies, C, like chapter, and the number 3, like chapter number 3. Now the secondary dominant, if it was a tool in your toolbox, I'd say it was something like a hammer or maybe a screwdriver. No, I like hammer better because the hammer interjects some solid force right away. And what the secondary dominant does, it adds some incredible musical enthusiasm when you're least expecting it. So the secondary dominant is an incredible tool. Let's see how to do this now. Let's go to the key of C, just for simplicity's sake. All the white notes in a row. Now the dominant is the 5th note. That's what dominant means, the 5th scale note. So in C, the dominant chord is G. And if you throw the 7th on the top, or voice it like this, it really wants to push back to, do you hear that? Back to C. C is called the tonic, which is the home base of this key. And the dominant really likes to move back to the tonic. That's the power of the dominant. Now we haven't yet looked at the secondary dominant. We just looked at the dominant, which is the 5th chord in the scale that you're in. The secondary dominant is a completely different beast. It's outside of the key. That's why it's such a surprise and so effective. Let's check it out. So what if you're playing along in the key of C, and you've moved up to the 2 chord, which is D minor, and the chord chart in front of you says go to E minor. Well, you could do that. You could just straight away go there. That's kind of nice. But what if I could give you a chord that would make your ears want to go to E minor? Incredible. Check this out. Let's say you're on D minor again, and then I played something like this. Oh, your ears want to go to E minor. Did you hear that? You didn't just land there. You really wanted to go there. That's the power of a secondary dominant. What is that mysterious chord that we just played that pushed us to E? Well, let's analyze it. What is it? It's a B chord, and I've voiced it, haven't I? I've got the root, the 3rd, and the 5th. It's a B chord. And And it moves us nicely, actually more than nicely, it drives us to E minor. But here's the mystery. I was in the key of C, and I'm playing all these black notes all of a sudden. What is the deal? No matter how long and hard you look in the key of C, it's all white notes, right? Even if you go up here. There's no black notes anywhere. How do you come up with a B? This is the gem we were looking for, the secondary dominant. But how do you come up with the secondary dominant? Now, this secondary dominant has got a phenomenal reputation for being a powerful musical device. But unfortunately, it remains a mystery for a lot of people. But you can build the secondary dominant using just 3 steps. It's very simple. Here's how to do it. Number 1, find the bottom note of the chord that you're moving to. So we're moving from D minor to E minor. What is the bottom note? Well, it's E, right? Okay, so that's the first step. Since we're doing just a quick overview of this lesson, let me jump ahead now to the section where I'm demonstrating the secondary dominant over a lot of different chords. Now we're going to jump into something I like to call the secondary dominant playground. Basically, it's a real simple chord progression, but preceding each chord is its secondary dominant. And you'll be amazed how powerful this device is. I'm going to play through a simple chord progression. Could be a song you heard on the radio or you wrote, doesn't matter. Secondary dominants will work with almost any chord. So I'm going to play first time, ignoring the secondary dominants and just show you the simple chords. Second time through, we'll add the secondary dominants to show you how it kicks the music into gear. But here's the simple chords. C, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3. Here's A minor, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, and G, 2, 3, or G7 if you like. 3, 4, F7, 2, 4, 2, 3, D minor, or D minor 7 if you like, 2, 3, 4, G. Let's jump ahead a minute now to the same passage where we're throwing in secondary dominants. I'm going to kick the tempo up and I'm going to throw in some style flourishes and have some fun with it. But I'll call out the secondary dominants and you'll hear them just before each new chord. Now, I don't want you to worry about the specific notes that I'm playing because they'll be flying by pretty quick. And we'll take time to analyze them in just a bit. But now I just want you to hear how this really kicks the music. C, 2, 3, 4. Here comes the secondary dominant of A minor. Isn't that nice? Comes a secondary dominant of G. Here comes a secondary dominant of F. Now we're going to do the secondary dominant of D minor. Now the secondary dominant of G. And you're back home. Isn't that amazing how those secondary dominants kick the music? Your ear won't let you rest. So now let's look at them real quickly. From C going to A minor, what's the secondary dominant? Remember the rules? First, find the bottom note of the chord that you're going to. This has just been part 1 of 2 of a quick overview taken from the piano lesson titled How to Match Chords Up with Any Melody, Chapter 3. To check out the second half of this overview or to look at the full lesson, come over to playpianotoday.com.